Welcome back to the Don't Stop Me Now podcast, where being negative can be a good thing and being positive can turn the world against you. Hello, I am your HIV positive host, Miss Jennifer Lee Vaughn, and this is episode number 108. And today we are going to talk about vampire facials. They look disgusting, honestly, but let's get into that a little bit later. I've got a few other little things I want to check off my list before we talk about the bloody facials and the 3 women who contracted HIV from them, per the news. Let's see. First thing I want to talk about is this is kind of more exciting. Okay, so do you know the singer Benson Boone? And I'm going to get to some comments too. Benson Boone, he's blown up on TikTok in the last 3 months. I think December is when his single came out. Beautiful Things, and you hear it all over TikTok. He's got a new song out that's called Cry. He was on American Idol for a moment, I guess back in 2017, around there, and he chose to leave the show to do his own music and not sing covers on American Idol and not be known as the guy that came from Idol. So he thought, screw this, I'm just going to go on my own. That's what I've figured out by just watching more of his stuff on TikTok. So anyways, I was telling my daughter Ryan about him today because I went down a rabbit hole last night watching his stuff because I didn't want to like it because I keep hearing this song, these beautiful things that you do. I can't remember the words to it. I love you, I need you, oh God. You know the song. If you know it, you know it. Anyways, he's kind of belting it out with so much passion. So again, I didn't really want to get into him because he's the new thing, and I don't know why. I just felt like I just didn't want to have I didn't want to get sucked in to I don't know, I just didn't want to get sucked into it because I could feel that this is something that everyone's getting sucked into, so I didn't want to be one of those people, but I got sucked in. So I started watching all of his different videos and his song Cry, and you know what actually really got me? I know he's younger, but he's wearing kind of not the most attractive clothes. Hold on a second, make sure my door's shut. Maybe he's dressed more like he's from the 70s. He's wearing the 70s roller skates. He's got big baggy pants on, and nothing about his clothing looks current. And so that initially when I saw that, and he's got curly hair and a mustache, so he kind of looks like he's straight out of the 70s. He does have that look. And so I was like, okay, interesting look, whatever. Still not, that attracted to him. And then I see this one picture of him in some roller skates, socks, and a pair of shorts, and that's it. And he's twisting his body kind of as he's skating. The boy is ripped. He's in such good shape. I shouldn't say the boy. He's a man. He's a young man. So anyways, I was like, wow, what a body. And he's hiding it underneath all these baggy clothes. Holy crap. It's kind of impressive that he hasn't been really showing that body off because it is an impressive body. So that was the first thing that I was like, that's interesting. I kind of want to know a little bit more. So I start listening to his songs and the hooks start getting to me. The song Cry I really like. I actually put that on my Spotify last night. Still haven't put These Beautiful Things because I'm that song's okay, but I don't know that I like it that much. So anyways, this is the crazy part. So I say to Ryan, my daughter, today, by the way, hi to the other Ryan. Apparently there's another Ryan, and he said that he and I have had this conversation already, but I didn't realize that he had said something in my comments from my last podcast about being a fellow Ryan. And I said, and from his little teeny picture that I can see, because the pictures on comments are very small, I can hardly make out who is in the picture. And for whatever reason, YouTube, there's an editing, app that I use for YouTube. It won't let me click on people's accounts and see what their pictures look like. It just doesn't let you do it. So the pictures are very small. So they were turquoise blue, a lighter blue frame, kind of big glasses. And from the picture, it looked like a girl. I thought it was. So I said something about, I'm going on a tangent here, that, another girl with the name Ryan. And he goes, no, I'm not a girl. We've already had this discussion. And I was like, oh, we have? I don't remember it all. So anyways, I apologize, Ryan. I don't remember the discussion, but I will forever remember it now. But anyway, so I went to my daughter Ryan and I said, "Have you heard of this Benson Boone guy?" And because I just Ryan knows all the current music, and she's like, "Yeah, yeah, I know who he is." And she goes, "You know, he's friends with Haley." And I said, "Haley? What? What are you talking about?" So in 2017, I went on a family vacation to Puerto Vallarta with my dad and his wife, and who is my stepmom, and like her entire side of her family, like her sister Lori and her kids, Jason and Sarah, and their kids. So Jason has a daughter named Haley. Haley is Ryan's age. She was on the trip. They're from Washington, and um, anyways, awesome family and all of that. And Haley's an awesome girl. And anyways, and I haven't even. I'm gonna write to her tonight and say what. So, anyways, Ryan says Haley's friends with him, like she's known him for a long time. I'm like, are you effing kidding me? So Ryan shows me Haley's Instagram. Sure enough, there's pictures of her and Benson Boone. Like they are friends. And I remember on the Mexico trip that she had mentioned that she had a friend who was on American Idol and that was going on American Idol. And at that point, I wasn't watching American Idol anymore. And I didn't care because I feel like there's so many people that come through American Idol, and I don't know, I just don't care anymore. And because I just feel like the show's been on for so long, it's just not that interesting to me anymore. But anyways, she, it's like I literally know the guy, right? It's almost like I know him because I could text Haley right now. Say, Haley, you're friends with this dude? What the hell? So, anyways, that was kind of exciting. Okay. Next on my list before I get to the comments and the vampire facials. Icks. Before, by the way, there was no word for anxiety growing up, and I totally had it. They just called it being a baby. I've said that a million times, and like having like stomach aches, and you just are sensitive. And what was the other thing? There was a word for what they used to say, but not anxiety. Anyways, my whole point to this is there's things that men or women do that give people the ick when they're dating them. Back in the day, we didn't know this was even a thing. I had no idea there was something called the ick, of course, because we didn't have that term back then. And I don't even know that I would have ever shared this thought because it just seems so shallow. And I honestly didn't even want to talk about it because it was sort of like bugging me whenever I thought about it. It was like, ugh. So anyways, I had an ick with my first boyfriend, and I remember vividly when it happened. So my first boyfriend was at San Jose State, and a fit young guy, a little bit shorter than me. And I just remember and again, he was more he wasn't like a super thin guy or anything, and he wasn't overweight or anything like that. He was just more like a compact, medium size, I guess. I don't know how to describe his body. His legs were definitely shorter than mine, but they were muscular. Anyways, he was walking a little bit ahead of me. He had shorts on. And I remember when he was taking his steps, his calves with each step would jiggle. His calf muscle would jiggle. And I'll never forget seeing it and thinking, I can't unsee that. I don't know why it bothered me so much. I was like, ooh, that was weird. What's that? Like those muscles jiggle. I don't know. I just remember seeing it and it turning me off so much and feeling bad that I even thought that. But now I know. Now I know, looking back, I had an ick moment with him. I ended up dating him for 2 years, so clearly it didn't bother me that bad, but I'll never forget it. I've never forgotten that. And the other thing is that I've never really noticed it on other people. I mean, I know that's a thing. When we walk, I think when we step down, our calf muscle might shake a little bit. I don't know, what a weird thing to like see and then feel like turned off by. Like it shouldn't have made me feel turned off, but I did. Okay. I think I've mentioned that I have a new car and it's got all the bells and whistles that I'm kind of not used to, and I'm just trying to get used to it. So I was leaving my house in a hurry to get to my subbing job, and I was backing out of my garage into my driveway, and I have my driveway is narrow. It's like just meant for one car to go up and down, and there's a strip of lawn down the center of it. And there are bushes between the side wall and the driveway. So they were a little overgrown, just a little bit. They're just sticking out into the area where I needed to drive a little bit. So as I'm backing up, I hear and I see the little red light on my console, and it goes beep, 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 like it's letting me know there's something behind me. Well, I'm still kind of going slow backwards. Well, I had filled up an entire mug of coffee, and it was on my dash because I don't have anywhere to put a mug of coffee because there's no spot for it in my middle console because those are just meant for mugs. I know, or not mugs, like travel containers. And I know, I'm already aware that I should be using a travel coffee cup of some type with a lid on it, but I don't like those because I know this is silly, but maybe it's not silly. I don't like the way it feels when I drink coffee out of them. I like to drink from a mug. I like to get a full, big, hot gulp in my mouth from the mug. You can't do that with those. And I don't like drinking from a straw. I like to drink my coffee from the mug. So I had it on the dash as I'm backing up, and it's beeping. Like, I think it beeped just a couple times. I don't know. I don't remember even the beeping, but it had to have because the little red light was on the dash. So I slowly proceed because I know there's nothing there but a bush. God damn it. The brakes hit so hard. So there's automatic brakes because it thinks I'm going to run into something. So it hit them so hard that I thought my car hit a wall. It was like, oh, it hit me against the back of my seat. And the car stopped very abruptly, and my coffee, my full hot cup of coffee, flew right into my middle console. And it went into everything, into the stick shift that has the fabric. It went into both cup holders, which have like a little, like almost like extra little hole down in the center for more liquids to get into. It went into, there's electrical stuff all over in the middle console. There's like a phone charger, what else? There's my what do you call it? Why am I having a hard time saying that? Seat heater buttons. Those buttons are right there. I'm trying to think. My e-brake is right there, which lights up. Everything is right there. And the coffee, and there is some creamer in there and sugar. Like the stuff that's, I don't know, the liquid stuff that you pour in there. And yeah, it was like so much. So anyways, I ran into my house and got a towel, and I got it all cleaned up. So thank God it all cleaned up pretty well and fast. And really, my coffee is mostly like just hot water with coffee flavor. So thankfully it wasn't sticky. But man, oh man, that is a really sensitive feature. And I didn't expect to have coffee all over the place and in my seat too. So that was a really fun moment. I think that was on Thursday. Okay, moving on. I just had mentioned this on my close friend's story, while I'm looking through Tinder, are the dudes that take pictures specifically to show their tattoos, and that's like their whole personality. That is just such a turnoff. I just have to say, I think tattoos are super, super sexy when there's no mention of them. Just don't even talk about them. Don't point them out. I don't want to know anything about them. Like, maybe I'll ask something about them, but it's so sexy when they've got them and they don't talk about them at all. Like, that is hot. Or try to show them off in a photo, like specifically showing off their tattoos. Then it's like, okay, so I guess we know what the conversation's going to be about if we ever meet. We're going to have to talk about why you picked that and the whole story behind it. And I don't really care. Like, I do care if you don't care, but if you want to tell me about it, because that's like the really important thing to tell me about yourself, then I don't want to know. So anyways, tattoos. Yeah. Don't make it obvious that you're trying to show people your tattoos. Just let them be, because that's when it's just really intriguing to me. Okay. Moving on to the comments, because the vampire facial I'm going to leave for the end. Funnily enough, before going and doing this podcast, I read a comment that I hadn't seen until right before I decided to press record, and it kind of took the sail out of my the sail out of my wings. No, that's not right. Why do I always get flubbed up on my analogies when I'm live? Anyways, it took the wind out of my sail. That was it. It took the wind out of my sail a little bit, but I'm good now. I'm not even going to read it. But anyways, I do have this one from Never Too Late to Convo. This is in regards to my last podcast. She says, I don't even know if it's a male or female. Her content is good, except she rambles too much on situations in personal life. She should sum it up. Nobody wants to listen to too long, rambled stories. Most info on here is accurate, but she seems to have a personal vendetta against men in general. While yes, men do go on the DL, not all men do. Well, no, I never said all men do, and I love men. I mean, I'd be a lesbian if I didn't love men, but I do love men. She doesn't agree that DL men are either gay or bi. No, I don't believe I said that. She says it's a fetish. I do think for some it is a fetish. I know I have said that hetero men might. It doesn't necessarily mean they're gay or bi. That's what I said. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could just be that they have these hetero relationships. I'm trying to be nice about it, Jesus, and I'm getting in trouble for that. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm still getting shit for it. Okay, fine. They're all gay. That's fine. I'm fine with saying that. If they're having sex with men, they're gay and they should only be gay. But see, that's not true, because then they're bi, because they do like women. So yeah, I mean, they're bi. I think I said that. I feel like I know I feel that way. I know that I feel that if they're on the down low, I don't really think, well, no. They could be gay, of course. And they could be living a hetero lifestyle to make everybody else happy, because being gay is just too hard in society. Bisexual, of course, they could be bisexual. They still like having sex with women, and they like the relationship with women, but they also like having sex with men. Yes, that is also true. But it also might be that they just want the fetish of being with a man. And I do believe that all three of those exist. So, and that's what I believe. So, it doesn't matter if you don't believe that. She says, or he says, which no, if a man wants to have sex with a man, he's either bi or gay or pan. But can you please stop rambling about nonsense? It makes some of your episodes hard to listen to. And then I just replied, you can also just not listen. But, I've had lots of people tell me they love my storytelling. And pretty much I am who I am. So if you don't like the way I do my podcast, then I don't know. You don't have to listen. Like, this is who I am. This is how I do it. And I don't think I'm probably going to change anything with regards to how I tell a story, because that's me. Somebody wrote to me, Andrew Peaker's show. He gave me $2. I don't even know how to retrieve that $2, to tell you the truth, but thanks. It says, I have a little headache and felt like I am burning up but have no temperature. Can you tell me what that means? No, I have no idea what that means. Like, why would I know what that means? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if you're asking, does that sound like HIV? You have to test. That's the only thing you can do. That doesn't sound like HIV, but it doesn't matter. It could be. I don't know. I don't know where you've been. I don't know what you've been up to, but I cannot diagnose that. You need to just test. Someone says, luck 5373, you are doing great. Thank you. Someone asked if I caught it from a blood transfusion. It's funny that I've had that question a lot. Like, people just can't believe that you still can get HIV today from sex. And blood transfusions aren't a thing anymore. There's been what do you call it? They've been checking blood since 1983. I think that's when all the procedures, mandatory like testing, was put into place. And because so many people, and I mean, maybe it was 85, but yeah, no, there's no blood transfusion. I mean, if that happens, I don't even know how it would happen, because it's always checked. So no, I didn't get it from a blood transfusion. Got it from sex. Was my comment deleted? I don't see another comment from you. I said, I don't think so. I don't know who that was. Let's see. This person says, I am HIV negative, but this lady helped me get over my fears to get tested. I was afraid for 2 years. I didn't have sex. I didn't hang out and didn't do anything. I was scared to death for 2 years straight. And it turned out to be negative. Of course it did. It's not that common, y'all. Thank you, Brown Eyes 411. Says, great vlog. Lots of interesting topics covered. See? People do like it. Random Potatoes, I really like your videos. You're such a cool and funny person. Thank you. See, I saved the positive ones for last. This good question as well. I think that people still die of AIDS on treatment if they start treatment with low immune status when pills are become useless. I think what they're trying to say is it is possible to die of AIDS if you're diagnosed too late and you start treatment to try to alleviate the mess that is your immune system, and some people do not recover. That is true for sure. But if you've recovered and you become undetectable and you stay on treatment, you're not going to die of AIDS. That's not a thing. You're going to live a long, normal life. If you can get over that first initial hump of like the opportunistic infections and all that, which is what I had. But once you get on track and you're undetectable, you're not going to die of AIDS. This person, Jose FUC, Jose Fuck, says, I need a woman like you in my life. Well, thank you. Topher Gracie says, I love with big letters, LOVE, your videos to this day. I found you on TikTok 2 years ago. Thankful for you, your advice and advocacy and continued strength you give out every day. Thank you. Thank you for listening, watching, and the nice comment. I totally appreciate it. Brown Eyes 411 says, you slap, Jen. They got the my daughter saying it fucks, it slaps. Let's see. Okay, there was more than that. Let's see which ones I responded. I haven't responded. YouTube's so weird. They don't just show you all the messages. You have to like filter through them. Sunrise, if 8RU is their name, their handle. Dear Jennifer, I had unprotected sex with sex worker for 3 weeks back. Or sex worker 3 weeks back. Now I am feeling ache in joints from 3 days. Is there any STD? Please tell me. Well, I mean, how can I answer this, you guys? I cannot tell if you have an STD. You need to test for them. HIV typically takes 2 weeks to show any symptoms. So I would say that's not HIV. I don't know what to tell you about the other STIs. I would get checked, go test. N3 Omega says, I pray to God I get to watch the video of you and Magic Johnson getting cured on YouTube or news and or wherever it will be live. I am not going to be sitting next to Magic Johnson for anything. So yeah, that day will never come, but and I don't believe in my lifetime there will be a cure. And I say that about Magic Johnson because I think he has duped the public on how he got HIV, and he made hetero men think that it was possible to get HIV from women, which we know, and if you follow me, you know that this is not what's happening. And he did what most men do, just blame it on a woman, because of course everybody will believe that, yet I don't see that in my advocacy. I don't see women transmitting it. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of his, so I'm not going to sit anywhere with him. If I get cured, it's going to be at my doctor's office with my doctor, not with Magic. But hey, if you like Magic, that's fine. I just don't. Let's see. Hi there. I'm not sure if you've shared it before, but how long did it take for your CD4 count to get over 500 from when you started your treatment? I've heard it could take years. It was years. I was in the 300 range for a long time. Then I finally hit the 400 range. I'm most currently in the 500 range for like the last year or so. But again, I never felt sick or my immune system didn't feel off at all once I recovered from pneumonia. And I mean, that was in the very beginning. So this number is not anything I would like be stressing out about at all. I do everything right, and it's just really slow to improve. But again, my immune system works fine. I'm not having any issues at all with my immune system. So like once the opportunistic infection cleared up back in 2016, the pneumonia, and I got, I didn't even have a CD4 of over 200 yet, and I felt fine. I was surfing, like I felt fine. And once that pneumonia cleared up and I was on my ARV and all the aches and pains went away from the HIV, like I was having joint pain and some muscle tenderness and stuff like that. Once all that stuff cleared up because of the treatment, I felt fine. So I guess my point is that don't get hung up on that number. But yeah, it took me several years, I would say maybe 5, to get to the 500 from being at an 84. Yeah, most women agree that men with any kind of long fingernails is not hot. Ugh. Someone says no more boy stories. No, laugh out loud. I know, not right now. I have them, believe me, but I'm not sharing them because I don't want to deal with the grief from certain people in my life. So yeah, it's just better that I just don't share anything right now. Let's see. I think I answered that one. Okay, let's get to the vampire facials. Okay. First of all, I don't know how they figured this stuff out. It's kind of crazy. So what is a vampire facial? If you haven't heard this in the news, this is what a vampire facial is. And I got this from thebody.com. It's a vampire facial is also called a vampire facelift or platelet-rich plasma facial. During a vampire facial, a sample of blood, often from your arm, is taken, and the plasma, the liquid part of your blood, is extracted. Plasma is rich in platelets and contains growth factors to help stimulate repair. This is from a board-certified plastic surgeon, Melissa Doft, MD, and she told this to Allure magazine. Can vampire facials transmit HIV? So when done properly by a licensed professional, vampire facials do not carry any risk of transmitting HIV because they do not involve any activity that can potentially transmit the virus. Many of the headlines surrounding the New Mexico spa incident have incorrectly or misleadingly linked the HIV diagnoses to the type of treatment itself. But while it's certainly eye-catching to link the two, the real culprit here is human malpractice. The spa's owner, Maria Ramos de Ruiz, was practicing medicine without a license and pled guilty to such in June of 2022, according to the Washington Post. So 3 women apparently contracted HIV. They've tested, I think, like over 400 that had been at that spa, but only those 3 came up positive, which leads me to believe that one of them was the patient 0. One of them had HIV and didn't know it. So I feel like one of them had it not from the spa. They had HIV and didn't know it. They had untreated, a high viral load, and then I feel like 2 people got it from that person, because it doesn't make sense. Like if those are the 3, one of them had it initially coming in, and the other 2 people got it from that person. So what to expect during a vampire facial? A vampire facial should take about 1 to 2 hours. It usually involves the following steps, according to the Cleveland Clinic. Your provider will apply numbing cream to your face. They will remove blood, usually from your arm. They will spin the blood in a device called a centrifuge machine to divide it into 3 parts: red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelet-rich plasma. Then the provider will spread the platelet-rich plasma over your face and use either one small needle or a microneedling, which is like the same thing we did with my eyebrows. That was a micro. Oh God, I can't remember the name of it. I don't know, I can't remember. To create tiny pricks in your skin that will help your face absorb the plasma. Hold on, now I gotta look and see what my eyebrows were called. I'm drawing a blank. Eyebrow microblading. Oh, hello. Yeah, microblading, because it's with a blade. So microneedling, same thing. I guess you're just puncturing the skin, but you're using a needle versus a blade. Okay, so it's to help your face absorb the plasma. How to prepare for a facial? I don't know if this is important, but it's not. Just, consult with your physician. And then this person who is a nurse practitioner. I don't know why I can't talk today. Nurse practitioner. She says, I don't think people should have an elevated or irrational fear of spa procedures and even the vampire facial, as long as they are doing the research about where to go. So yeah, you just have to make sure that the person that you're going to is, has a medical license. So I'm not truly sure how it all happened. She must have reused some type of needle that sucked up the blood into some small reservoir that oxygen didn't get to, and it was the right temperature, and it kept the virus live. And she used it on the next patient. She must have used it within that day and probably gave it to those 2 other people that day. That's all I can assume, because there's no way that it would like survive for days on end, and so it was probably just those 2 people. So yeah, probably somebody came in with HIV, didn't know they had it, and then she gave it to those 2 people who came in after her. That's what I think. Headlines about HIV can often be misleading, this is the takeaway, hoping to play into people's fears of HIV, as well as human beings' inherent anxiety about variables that are outside of our control, such as whether a spa's equipment is sanitary. The best way to protect yourself against this is first to realize that such an issue is exceedingly rare, and second, to use all of the information available to you to understand the basics of HIV prevention and make the most informed decision possible for your health. From thebody.com, they say the recent buzz about the vampire facials, which have been linked to HIV transmission, reflects not the risk of the treatment itself, but the severe consequence of differing standards and safety protocols. Rest assured, it was not the innovative beauty procedure that led to the outbreak, but flawed practices in a single facility. Swipe through to get a clear understanding. So that's what I just read to all of you guys. So I hope it's clear. I think if you're into that kind of thing, I mean, it sounds kind of painful, but maybe it would take some of my fine lines away. I don't know. Maybe it's worth doing. I think Kim Kardashian was the one who kind of like got that real popular. But it looks gruesome because your face is like literally covered with blood. But hell, if it like helps the aging process or whatever, maybe, who knows? People do all sorts of weird things. People put, baby pee on their face, and I mean, there's all sorts of weird stuff that people do to their faces. So anyways, that's it. I just wanted to do a quick one today, and the vampire facial has been in the news, so I thought it was a good one to touch on. So yeah, just obviously make sure the person that's doing any kind of procedure on you has correct licensing, and they've been certified, and they that they're not a fraud, that they're not doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And there is a lot of that going on. So ask for credentials if you don't believe it. If you have like any concern, I would want to see like proof that they are that they have their license and they know what they're doing. So that's it. I hope you guys are good, and I hope you all have a great first, no, it's the second week of May. It rained yesterday, I think, and I live in Northern California, but I think that was the last rain of the year, I'm hoping. I am so ready for warm weather. I'm so ready to hit the beach with my daughter and or daughters, and so ready to, I don't know, have a good summer. Hopefully something fun will happen. I'm tired of just same old, same old. I need some excitement in my life. Okay, guys, have a good one. Love you guys. See you next week. Bye. Bye, YouTube.